Yo, and welcome to the static ad training. My name's James. I'll be walking you through this process. Um, Basically, at the moment, like I'm in the middle of building it, so this is obviously prior to the workshop. So, just kind of like trying to put everything together. Um, there's a bunch of stuff we need to cover, and it's all kind of like a work in progress. But I have been making a lot of static ads over the last 6 months, I would say. So I've got a pretty good process down, and I'm hopefully going to be able to walk you through how I'm making these statics and how you can do the same. So, like this kind of SOP, this document, I'm not sure how it's going to be presented to you, whether it's going to be in a PDF form or you're going to get a Google Doc that looks a bit like this. But as you can see, like I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on. Not all of it's going to be ready for the workshop. But a good majority of it will be whatever was kind of promised to you. It will be here, and then I think some of this other stuff I'm going to have to keep back for the Genesis community. But it's pretty extensive, um, and I've done some test runs to make sure everything is working good. But doing it live could be a challenge. But let's see. So what I'm going to do to kind of kick things off is just show you some of these ads that I've been building out. So these are just for fun, but they would work for a product, like for Mario and Luke's AI marketing services hyperdrive. But I thought this was, I don't know how Mario and Luke would feel, but I thought these were pretty good likenesses. All I did was just generate the concept and uploaded a screenshot of Luke and Mario, and not bad. So I'll just walk you through all the different things that you can do. So let's see what you can achieve once these statics, are generated, and then walk you through exactly how we do that. So I'm just going to scroll through a few things here. So we've got some chess stuff here. We've got some stuff for dogs. We've got some AI kind of like freelancing stuff. Hopefully you can see all that nice enough. There's lots of different formats and styles that you can do, and obviously with Meta's Andromeda, rollout, although people don't know 100% exactly what that means in so many different ways, but essentially it does mean creative diversity. So the more different styles of statics and videos you can put into your ad account, your campaigns, your ad sets, then obviously Meta has the ability to serve a bunch of different ads to a bunch of different segments within your audience, whoever you're targeting. And, it's these kind of different messages and different formats are going to catch the eye of different people, different pockets of people in your marketplace. So these are the kind of ads that I've been working on. This is like for a pottery product. Some of these ads are the ads that got me hired to work with Luca Mario, promoting their copy blocks training. These are some other spec ads that I sent out to Stefan Georgi for his Opal Beauty brand. Never heard back from him, to be fair, but I was quite happy to do them anyway because it allowed me to figure out how to do e-com as well. Bearing in mind this is all AI. So there's no design involved in this at all. It's just all 100% AI. There's a few little tweaks you have to make based on the product placement and the writing of the the words on the label, etc. But quite nice. You can see the difference, the contrast between this is very bright, and this is more aesthetically pleasing. With the right brand colors, the logo, and all that. So you can do crazy stuff, garish, loud for digital products or what have you, or you can do nice stuff e-com. These are some ads. That's the other thing about dialing in and refining this process. These are some ads that I did for Luca Mario in this kind of AI marketing services hyperdrive. And the problem with these ads is they're getting a really, really high click rate, but they're more curiosity clicks, so they're not converting. So this is what Mario was talking about a while ago, and maybe Luke and Mario will be mentioning it on the training, but talking about tangible curiosity, so kind of making the curiosity relevant to the target market. So you're kind of pre-qualifying and disqualifying people at the ad level rather than having them click through and obviously pay for that click. So I think one of the ways in which you can do that, whether you're doing a unhinged ad, although it's slightly different because you're trying to grab as much attention as possible, and then obviously transition them through to more traditional direct response ad. But for these kind of statics, I think one of the ways in which you can do kind of tangible curiosity is kind of make it like situationally kind of relevant. So if you're doing a plant care offer or whatever, maybe you'd have a woman of a certain age in that demographic. Maybe the setting would have some plants. She'd be in a garden, maybe with this AI stuff. Although some of these ads do work. Maybe you'd have a laptop. Maybe you'd have some guy stressed out, before and after, just to kind of like have that kind of scene that they can see themselves in, that kind of everyday 9 to 5 setting or what have you. So these are some ads that I built on the back of that kind of data, in the sense that too many curiosity clicks, not enough buyers. These are kind of like trying to have some of that kind of tangible curiosity and that kind of like situationally kind of relevant setting. Maybe not 100% on, but you can see what I'm doing here. You can pause the video if you want. A bunch more. Some of these ads I've created with the process that I've just built out for you. So, I was quite happy to see some of these ads actually. Like this one, I like this one. I like a bunch of them really. And also, you can generate, square 1:1 ratio. 4:1, which is slightly larger, takes up more real estate in the Meta's platform, or you can go for 9:16, which I think is also good. So again, like these are all 100% AI. I haven't touched these, and sometimes there's spelling mistakes, sometimes there isn't. But I think you can get a feel for this. Here's ecom again. All I did here was generate the concept and then uploaded the bottle of the product here. In this case, plant juice for Matt Cain's Elmder brand. It looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit slightly oversized, but all good. You could probably tweak that if you wanted to, but either way, it looks quite nice, I think. And here's some like this is like a workshop, I think it was a webinar or something Mario looked at a while ago. So that's like basically a static as a static. And obviously, the ultimate goal is to turn those statics into an actual full, Facebook ad. So this is obviously where do you want to get to? Because it's no good just generating statics and then obviously just like sending them over to a client. I mean, yes, you can do that, or for yourself if you're doing it for yourself. But ultimately, you want to be having the primary text, the headline, and in some cases the description. So you can kind of see how these ads come together with the copy. Pause anything if you want to look at. Just going to skim through. This is for like a real estate wholesaling offer that me, Mario, and Luke were doing for a Genesis member. And then here's some stuff for a dog brand for Mattia Paganelli. Just thought we'd try some stuff there. And then this is for Matt again, the kind of plant juice stuff. A bunch of different stuff, like going for unaware audiences, trying to just grab someone in with a random kind of headline. But obviously, a plant is kind of setting that scene, so it kind of like has a bit of that kind of situationally relevant imagery. Let's say here again, like a native-looking letter, but there are plants there, so and a leaf, so can be kind of like curiosity, but at least there's like a plant in the picture, if that makes sense. And then just a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, and I quite like these ones. I'll show you how I made these because I quite like getting the image onto the static. Sometimes it doesn't work out first try. You can make a tweak in Canva, the editing software, which makes it very, very easy to do. So, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move into, and this is the thing, right? Because I'm building this out kind of like just like a few days before this workshop, I'm going to have to make an assumption as to what you're actually bringing to this kind of like modular system. So obviously on the front end, you've got your ideation, you've got your research, your avatar, you're kind of like generating concepts, different angles, ways into the marketplace, entering the conversation in the customer's head, etc. Whether you're going for macro problems, micro problems, everyday problems, whatever, or if you're targeting more solution aware, product aware, what have you. So you're going to be bringing your concept, and you're going to have that generated, and then you're going to meet me here in this kind of like modular system, and then from there, by the end of this kind of like training, you're going to have turned your idea, your angle, your concept into a prompt that is ready to go into ChatGPT for image generation. So hopefully that makes sense. But as I say, because I don't know what you're bringing. Like I don't know. I don't think it's we have a standardized process for what exactly you must bring to the table. Like do I need to know the product name, the offer, the price, the audience, the this, the that, the problem, whatever, right? So I've just had to make an assumption, and by to do that, um, I've given you a few different things. So we've got an extractor here, and if you're not really into LLMs and AI and you haven't done much of this stuff before, don't worry about it. It's very simple. For anyone else that has already is already deep in the weeds of this stuff, all it is just a very simple prompt, and what it's going to do is if you read here. Um, So this would be, say, if you didn't have much of an idea, but even if you did, it might be good because it will pull certain information that we might need that might be relevant to going on the static. So you'd be presenting some notes, a seed of an idea, a sales page, or a TXT file or PDF that has maybe your sales page, your avatar, your offer information, etc. And what we'll do is we'll run this prompt, and it will pull out particular things. So the product and the service, the target audience, the main problem or desire, primary message promise, price, offer details, call to action, any visual elements, tone, style, hints. So this might change as I continue to build this out. And when you go through the workshop, you'll have the kind of like the best version of this, ready to go, crystallized that you can use. But I would say this is a pretty good starting point. And for the copywriters and advanced marketers here, obviously all you would do if you still wanted to use this, but you didn't feel that it is relevant to have this or have this, well, obviously you just delete it and you put in whatever you want, for yourself. But I think that's a really easy way to just extract some cool info that would be relevant. So what we'll do is I'm going to go into ChatGPT. All I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that into the chat window. Actually, I might as well just do it now. I'll just take the whole thing, go to ChatGPT, back it in there. I'll just pause the video until it comes back. Okay, so yeah, I've got the response returned to me. At first, I wasn't able to get that web page because I forgot to add web search. So just go to plus here, go to more and web search, and I've been able to retrieve some of this stuff. So what we'll do is we'll take this back into our thing here. It's just so that's kind of locked in. Now, obviously, like I mentioned before, this is only if you've got no real idea. So I know that's quite maybe not how this system is supposed to work, in the sense that you're supposed to be bringing a fully kind of like fleshed out concept here. But I'm just gonna, as I say, I'm just making an assumption that you might not have some of that stuff, or even if you do have a concept, you might not have some of the relevant information that we would want to go onto a static. So I'm just going to run it like this. It's been quite successful for me in the past, so I think it'll be successful for you. And obviously, if you've got a lot more experience with marketing, then obviously you can adapt it, any way you see fit. So, now that at least we have this. Let's just say that this is good to have. We've extracted X amount of things, and now it's up to us what we want to bring over to the next kind of like step to the process, which is the expander. So if we don't want to have the price involved, fair enough, just chop it out. If you don't want to have a call to action involved, fair enough, chop it out as well. Because obviously you can go for like top of funnel awareness, where maybe you're just trying to get a bit of brand awareness and put your brand or your product or whatever in front of people, and you're not too worried about conversions because you're just looking to get some engagement on an ad, or you're just looking to, you've got like a campaign where you're just running top of funnel awareness and it's not about conversions, you're not spending too much money. And then, but later on, when you're getting towards middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, when you're trying to get those customers sold, obviously you can still do that through curiosity and getting clicks over to the web page without mentioning the price. But I do think oftentimes with these statics, particularly in my experience, and this isn't the case across all statics, obviously, but if you put the price up front and center with a sticker or whatever on some of your statics, well then there's a good chance that but the person that clicks over to the sales page is obviously has an understanding that they're going to have to buy something or that there's something for sale. So it's not like a click that you're paying for and they bounce because they know that somebody is selling something because there's a price in the image. But as I said, that's not always the case. Just something to keep in mind for some of your statics, but it obviously depends on your kind of like objective that you are going for. So anyway, what we would do here, right? We would take this if we liked it, we would take it into the expander. If we don't, obviously this is where we can make some tweaks. Like to be honest with you, like, I don't need these URL links here. To be fair, at this point, it's only going to maybe give me a bit of an issue later. So apologies. Let me just delete this stuff. Okay, so the expander again. Hopefully, I'm sure Luke and Mary are going to think I'm overdoing it here. But I just wanted to make sure I cover all bases. And I don't want to get anyone confused, but all we're going to do is we're taking one core idea and we're going to expand it into 3 to 5 different ideas. So then we can see the one that we like best. And then we can take those, one of the 5 or all 5, because it doesn't really cost anything to generate images, and turn those into prompts. And then we can see our idea brought to life in a static in a number of different ways based on this kind of expander. So I will walk you through this quickly. So we're going to take this, right, and then we're going to go over to ChatGPT again, get rid of the web search. Now, this isn't always going to be 100% perfect in the sense of the copy being bang on, because I haven't given any context here about what is good copywriting. So obviously there is that. Inside Genesis, there are a bunch of different bots that can produce statics, the ugly ads bot, the meme bot, and a few other things that kind of have copywriting kind of baked into it. If you know Luke and Mario's training on copy blocks, all of that kind of stuff is baked in. So some of the ideas here, that we're just free flowing now aren't maybe always going to be 100% spot on. But if you wanted to kind of put some guardrails into this system, then you could upload a document about what is good copywriting essentially. But at the same time, obviously, if you've already got your kind of concept fleshed out with good copy anyway, you've got the headline, you've got this call to action, you've got whatever you want on it, then obviously you could just ask this part of the system here to, within the remit of the words that you're already presenting based on the concept, develop me 3 to 5 variations on that, just maybe swapping in some verbs or call to actions or whatever. Yeah, just kind of see that variation. But we'll just go back here. And as I say, I haven't really test run this variation of it because I've just been too busy doing all the videos for the AI videos and stuff. So let's just hope that we get what we want here. Okay, so we've got. Let's bring it over here. I'm not even sure how powerful this is, to be honest. Let me just see. Let's just have a look. Right, reframe. Okay, so I quite like the coffee crash, but I think I'm going to go for this brain fuel upgraded. So what we'll do now is we'll go to the transformer. So, with all that preamble out of the way, this is where, for the person that already has their static ad kind of concept all ready to go, so you've got their headline, you've got the call to action, you've got any body copy on the image, you've even got some visual directions for what you want, depending on your kind of level of design ability and all that, or how much you want to kind of nudge the prompt in the way that you want. Then you're basically going to meet you here. So you're going to present your concept here. So your concept, right? Whatever that is, seed idea, full idea, sales page. You can upload a sales page, landing page, avatar info, whatever. Yeah, and then you'll just we'll take this into ChatGPT um, to get a image generated. But obviously, what you need is you need. Well, we could do it. Let me just show you. Let me just show you this quickly. So where are we here? Okay, so let's put this here. My concept. Right. Okay. Excuse me. So right. So that is obviously, as I say, if you've already provided the headline, the subheadline, the visual ID, the CTA, etc., then you're going to see something very different on this page. But because I just gave it a very, very like loose concept, it's given me this. As I say, there's no copywriting like baked into this and stuff like that. Either way, it doesn't look too bad, right? So you want to take this, and obviously let's just put it here. Keep track of things. So that is now our concept taken through to a prompt ready for image generation. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now, what we need to do is we need to take this, take it to GPT image gen, and then we need to generate the image. And to do that, we need a template, right? So this is the template that I'm going to give you inside of your kind of SOP when it's all done. This here, you can write whatever you want here. This is what I've just written. You're an expert at transforming ad concepts into a 1080 by 1080 high resolution images. You are a master at blah, 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 blah. So you can pause it if you want to read it. You're going to get this prompt anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. You can, if you really wanted to, I just wrote all this extra stuff to kind of really try and force, the image generator to do exactly what I want, because sometimes the spelling and the letters and the CTAs, they kind of like don't end up correct. There's a misspelling, there's gibberish. The CTA part of like the image, if I'm trying to get a CTA on there, will often be pushed down because it's just like, I don't know, just messes up. So, I've just like bolded this, like 2 stars either side means bold in like kind of markdown, LLM speak. But you could easily just, if you want to, just get rid of that. If you don't like all the verbose kind of intro, just do that if you want. I'm going to stick with what I've got for now. And then I'm going to paste. Let me just duplicate that so I've got that to go back to. So I'm just going to paste my concept here. What did I do wrong there? Sorry. Right. So that's it. Job done. Copy and paste into GPT. Obviously, be mindful of the needing the image gen thing on, right? Paste that, enter, and we'll just see what happens. I'll just pause. Okay, so yeah, this image has generated. Unfortunately, the spelling is not ideal. You see here, but I think this is looking actually really, really good. And just in case it wasn't clear, because I know I was going on a bit earlier on about all the different expanders and extractors and what have you, and all the bots that I'm in the middle of building, it's like hard to keep up myself, let alone trying to explain it to you. So apologies. But yeah, we're calling this an ugly ad. Now, there's different people out there, talking about ugly ads and selling courses and stuff like that. They're also obviously ugly ads. In the context of this workshop and this kind of like protocol, we're classifying this as an ugly ad because it's like visually jarring, garish colors, like the just, I don't know, it just looks, I wouldn't even call it ugly, to be honest. I don't know what I'd call it, but we're calling it ugly. This is it's maybe a little bit different than what you expect to see. So anyway, all I did was I just I didn't change anything about the prompt. I just copied it and I just dropped it in here, and just that's it. Another crack. So I don't think this one. This is the thing. This is the frustrating thing. I'll be honest with you with static ads is that sometimes the second generation isn't as good as the first. So I like this one better personally. And so the only problem here is the missing E. So what we would do, and I'll show you that later, is you just go into Canva, which is a free software that you can make, like just edits. It's very good. Professionals use it, but for our purposes, it's definitely good enough to like make a tweak to the headline here. So, and the other thing as well, I should have said, was that I think really when you're doing this, it'd be better to have one chat window, specifically kind of like just focusing on the copy and the concepts and the ideas, and then just open another window for the images. So you're not having to go back and forth. Because really, I want to start generating more ideas now based on this kind of all this information here, and I don't want to get bogged down with images and copy. So really, yeah, should have opened another window, but it's all good. It's fine. So what we'll do is. And I don't know if it's going to trigger images now, but really I want more concepts. And in actual fact, I think really what would be best is to yeah keep all these things separate. Like I've got like the so you keep you start with the extractor or the expander depending on what you want to do. But essentially you'd have all those windows separate, and then you can just go back into one or the other, and you can like keep generating multiple ideas, etc. etc. So let's just say we will do this one now. So we need to go back to the transformer, put this here, copy that, bring it over. And the other thing as well is you can do, and that's why I should have a separate window, because I could just say, right, give me more. I'll just say, okay. Obviously, I like to use the. I don't know if you use microphones, voice stuff, but it's pretty cool. Yo, yeah. So yeah, really like that. That's great. Can you give me two more, please? Very very different from the layout notes and the headlines. Like two different angles, different colors, different themes, different images, different this, different that. Thank you. So that's hopefully that works. That's as easy as that when it comes to getting more concepts. So let's bring this one over to our template here. Not sure why that is not in line. Oh, that's a little bit annoying. I'll have to fix that in the formatting. But let's just go. So what I will do is let's open a new chat. So just control and then hit your mouse key left on the left. Make sure you get the image open when it happens, when it loads. Okay. Don't know why that's not working. Yeah. Right, so we'll get that one cooking, and then we'll go back to this chat, and we'll get a few more going. So obviously I'm not doing any proofreading, no checking here. I'm not really interested in that at the moment for these kind of demo purposes, but obviously you would be checking everything. Kind of made sense to you. We'll just get this one lined up, ready. And then get one more. And again, we could have the price on there. We could, we'll take it off. So I'll tell you what we do. Let's have a look at this one. Zoom in. Caffeine called it wants its crash back, upgrade your fuel, your brain fuel, focus, energy, calm, all in one scoop. Fake retro magazine parody, love that. That's gonna be really cool. Price optional. So let's scratch the price now, and let's see what that would look like. So we shall Just copy that. Go here. Oh, we've got another one there. I'll have to open another window. Right. Get that one going. Come on. It's taking forever. Just take that one out and start a new window. I like to do multiple windows. I don't know why I didn't explain that earlier. I just think it makes life so much easier. So that's that, right? So, and really, the process is very much the same for all of the different kind of things here. So I know that we're going to be covering in this training um, ugly ads, I believe, bold ads, which is like just like large font typography. What else? Hero, like product shots for like e-com style. I mean, you can still do it with digital products, and I'll show you how to do that. But you know, e-com style, and then and we've got what else is there? We've got a comment kind of review, so like a bit of a native um, kind of a platform for like an Amazon testimonial style, or a just a comment, a bit of feedback from a customer, or potential customer. So let's have a look how we're getting on. I love it. I bloody love it. I'm blown away. I mean, it's just, I could swear. I think it's effing amazing. I really do. So, just think about like, we've done nothing here copy wise. This is all ChatGPT and the extractor, the expander, and the thing, whatever. But you can imagine what this would look like with your own copywriting, particularly if you are a copywriter yourself. You can imagine, sky's the limit, really, with what you can do. I would say that this potentially should be saying Remo does. So we'd want her hand up slightly so we could see on the cup, because there's no real branding here. But you could easily tweak that. It wouldn't be. You'd have to probably pay in Canva. You'd have to do a pro subscription, and what you would do is you would just click round her. You'd select her as an object. You'd slide her up slightly, and you'd take this cup and you'd slide it up, and then you'd outpaint and expand that cup to become a real full-size cup. Or alternatively, you would just tweak the prompt, and again, like you would kind of like maybe you'd scratch some of this stuff, and you'd like just have the you could scratch all that, and then you would just say based on the instructions for this ad concept, please ensure that the cup in the woman's hand is showing rainbow dust or whatever the prompt said, right? So you can get that on there. Sorry, the old camera's got out of zoom. Focus. I'm loving this. I think they're awesome. Mate, I think these are flipping fantastic. I really do. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. Look at that. And the products on there, and that's crazy because we haven't even given the. I mean, this is what the product looks like. I mean, it's not far off, is it? Where are we? Not far off. And again, what you can do as well is, even though we're not in the hero section, like this isn't the like this is just a kind of ugly ad, but you could quite easily upload a picture. If you've seen the video, the Google VO3 stuff that I did with, and I used Primal Queen as an example. It's a pouch very similar to this. You could easily add this concept, generate this concept, and then you could actually, so you take this, add that in here, and then you add a little note like, and please use the uploaded image. Oops, I could spell. Uploaded image as inspiration for the product pouch shot or whatever. And you might have to do a few iterations, but that would probably happen automatically, after a couple of iterations. Or again, in the kind of post generation phase, you could quite easily take a product shot of the rainbow dust, obviously get a transparent background, and then just like put it on the top here. I'll show you how to do that later if you're interested. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover, and I've already been talking for way too long. So what else can we do? I don't know if I have a time really. I don't know if you would want to see me go through all these things, but I just I prepped a bunch of templates to show you, like really the output. Well, let me just at least talk you through this. So you can see here how the concept here. There isn't much to it, and then with the template, we've got sorry, with the concept there's not too much to it, and with here there's not much to it, but in this case we've got a headline, subheadline, visual idea, CTA, color cue, layout note. So obviously all of that stuff is coming on the back of the expander, which is kind of like extracting this information here, and that is what's setting the tone for what is this, what are these outputs here. So it's just saying that upstream of this, you can have anything you want to be extracted from your core idea or your builder buyer kind of avatar information, your sales page, your offer doc, whatever. It's up to you to discern and decide what you want. I'm just going for this in this example, and this is like the kind of like how I'm going to present it to you in the full SOP. But I'm just saying, like, the world's your oyster. You can extract as much or as little information as you want, to the point where you can end up with something like this, or you can end up with something slightly different, and you'll still get a good output. And that's really what I'm going to walk you through here. So although I prepped all these, I don't think we're going to bother running through all of them. I don't think it's necessary, because we've got to get moving. We've got to get through the other kind of the prompts. But what I will show you is that any of these would work. So we've just got 4 here. This one would work. We've got is a headline, a body, a CTA. This is a slightly different looking prompt, but it would still fit into the template. You just copy that and you just whack it in the template right here. Again, slightly different. So but in this case we're going for the headline, subheadline, visual description, call to action, price strategy, color palette, format style, visual aesthetic, typography, text layout, ad type, right? So there's just a few variations. I think they're all kind of based on the same thing, but here, headline, body, CTA, product, target, audience, problem, desire. So you can just see that it's quite flexible and adaptable, and it will print something onto a static regardless if you're going to use this template. And as I say, feel free to tweak that, get rid of it, do whatever you want. That's also what I like to use. But as you can see here, like it doesn't always work out the gate. Where are we? This one, yeah, but then this one isn't bad either. Is there any we didn't see here? I think that's great. I really do. No, okay, so we've covered that. Now what I need to show you is, so that's ugly. All right, now I need to show you bold. Okay, just before we do that, I'm just going to show you this before I forget. So mistakes, essentially, a lot of times you can forget maybe to put something on the image. So for example, here's a couple of images that I created for this workshop for Mero and Luke that I did a while ago, back in the summer, obviously. In this case, I forgot to add the offer details and the workshop stuff. So, I forgot to add this. And so the image I quite liked, but it didn't have that kind of, what we're talking about, that tangible curiosity. Like this really means nothing, but at least with this one, at least there's like, a workshop date on Zoom, time, date, place, etc. So it kind of like the person clicking through has a understanding of what that would be. Here I forgot to add the size dimension I wanted, although it didn't come out too bad, but I wanted a square that gave me this format. Same here. And then again, sometimes feel like this is like a Drake meme or whatever. No matter how many times I tried, I couldn't get this headline right. So I just tweaked it and adapted it myself. And then I'm going to show you Canva if you're interested a bit later. But essentially, when you get an image, sometimes it'll be okay. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it comes down to the prompts, like how you're prompting, like the detail and the level. You might just miss something. In this case, it wasn't 72 hours only, so I just wanted to make a tweak here, and then this was all like some weird key, and so I just tweaked it and I just changed it like that. So very, very simple to do, really. This one almost came up bang on, but I didn't like this line, so I just kind of like screenshot that, put a little and lifted it up to kind of cover that. And here, this isn't really a very good one. It's too busy, but I just made a few changes. This one didn't want that 18-second stopwatch on the thing, so I just put a blank page over it. Here, I didn't want to name all the copy blocks, so I just covered them up with numbers. And I'll show you how to do that in Canva, and this and on and on. So anyway, let's move over to bold. I don't think actually I was going to have a chance to share this one with you. Actually, I don't think Luke said I necessarily had to, but you know, it is what it is. Lucky for you, bonus. Bold. So again, as I say, like because I'm building this on the fly in the dark in some sense, like there's not some standardized process where you're going to meet this kind of module in this system and everything is going to be like one clean way. You're always going to have a headline, always going to have a subheadline, always going to have a copy, always have CTA, always have this, always have that. Like it's obviously a fluid, dynamic process, like ad creation. So that's why I think that the extractor comes in handy to get some of these kind of baseline kind of things that you would want. And the expander also comes in handy, particularly if you've got like quite a few different contenders for a headline, subheadline, a hook, or whatever. Then you know you can present that to the use that as part of this expander and have those ideas that you weren't sure if they were going to make the cut, and like put them into this and get 3 to 5 concepts with copy if you want, and then obviously from there pick your best ones and take them into the transformer. Really, they're all kind of transformers. So there's like a bold transformer. They're all called prompts, but I'm just calling them transformers just because I thought it just sounded good. So where are we now? We are in the bold. So what we need is, okay, so I think at this point we don't have any concepts, do we? So I think what we'll do, we'll steal one from the rainbow dust. So we haven't tried this one. So take that, go to the bold. Concept. And then let's find one that is not got any images in, or it doesn't matter. Now, let's start a new chat. Actually, I don't want to get start a new chat. Excuse me. Right. So obviously I'm doing this because I don't have any concepts locked in. So this is just the way I like to do it and the way I'm doing it here because I haven't prepped concepts, right? But obviously if you had all the concepts already lined up, then you're not bothering about doing the expander. You'll go straight to the transformer, if that makes sense. Let me see. Okay, so we'll try that. Let's see. I don't know how it's going to go. But again, we want to take it into the template. And the other thing as well I was going to mention is it doesn't have to be 1080 by 1080. It could be, a 9 by 16 or a 4 by 5. So what I did actually here, I changed the dimensions, and this was a thing I was going to test earlier. But let's just, let's just try this one. We'll try this. Make sure image generation is on. And then what we'll also do is we will, I'm just getting, there's so many things here. We'll take this one, and we'll go back here. And then I think the next one was a 9 by 16. 4:5, okay. I was going to show you this one. I thought that was quite a good one, but it doesn't matter. We'll just go for it here. I think this is absolutely awesome. This is killer. Absolutely killer. Um, right, next one. And then let's do a square as well because we've done a few different formats here now. So we go back to the template. And again, as I mentioned, like we're only getting these things based on the concepts that we're bringing over. And again, is obviously I'm giving you this as a best practice, like a protocol to get started. But once you start to do this like quite a few times or many times, you'll start to appreciate what you like about this process and what you don't. And then, essentially all the outputs I'm asking for these bolds they're coming via this. Okay, so if you want to change anything, like you want it to be less words, you want it to always be a certain font size. You don't want the text block to. You never want a CTA, or you do, but you want to adapt it because you want to just test a few things, and you want to go for particular colors. Maybe you want to do always like on branded. Let's say if you're econ brand, then they like to use different hues and palettes or whatever. You can like force that into here, so you'll always get the outputs that you would want with the color palette, if that makes sense, all right? And again, with price on or off, up to you. So where are we? I'm not sure where we are now. Did I try and generate that? I don't think I did. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a moment. Right, let's try here. Right, so what have we got? Okay, not bad. Um, a bit ambiguous there, like whose brand this is, who's whatever. But you could tweak that easily. But at the same time, it's also quite good. Um, But I think you probably want branding there. So, but what you would do is you would like maybe you just rip the logo. So save the logo. It's good, and then let's just try it. Let's try it on let's try it on this one. So, oops, and it is like a just an iterative process. So let's just say add photos. Space goods. Is that going to? Oh, have I got? Is that going to upload? Oh, it's there. Say please ensure the logo is also present at the top center. That could work. It might not work. Again, we could easily add something in, post production, as it were, if we wanted to. Here again. So yeah, I'm not overjoyed with these ones, to be fair, but also not bad. Not bad. Um, I did like a lot of these bold ones from here. Where are they? Like this is a bold. When I was testing things out, I think this was a bold. This was a bold. This was a bold. So obviously there's variety. I think what we need to do if we really want to see the bold one through is we need to add add some. We need some better concepts, I think. So I'm going to pause the video because I don't want to leave it with that. I don't think that's really strong enough to really show you as good examples. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll bring some better ones to you in a moment. Yo. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, I've managed to generate a few more. I'll just show you how I achieved that. What I did was I just ran the process again, like in I I ran the process again. So we did a web search, we scraped the page, pulled out the details again. It wasn't a fresh window, to be fair, but just ran the process again to kind of reset the context, and then extracted some ideas or expanded some ideas, let's say, into 5 concepts. and I said, just give me 10 more. Then I copy and pasted, all of them into um, here. And then I just started like furiously grabbing these and then whacking them into the transformer to give me. I think no, what I did, I'll tell a lie. I took all of these, all 15, and I just said, where the flip is it? I just said 10 more, and then I went with the transformer and I said, please give me one of each, please, markedly different in every way. And then it gave me one for each concept. So unfortunately, I've like maxed out. I've hit my rate limit for image generation, which is a bit of a bummer when I'm in the middle of this kind of a video training. But it is what it is. I'll have to pause the video and come back and like finish off the other couple that I'm going to walk you through. But again, like um, I wouldn't necessarily classify this as bold because bold, in my mind, bold typography is more about just text only. So I might have to revise the prompt, but then saying that, as in like the transformer to get you to this point. But to be fair, I think this is a banger ad. I really do. I mean, I think it's absolutely insane what you can do. Obviously, there's a mistake here, so I just noticed that, unfortunately. Um, but I mean, this is, I think it's like, I think it's crazy, really. And I've been doing this for 6 months, and I'm always impressed and shocked by this stuff. I really am. Um, so well, hopefully you're like seeing the potential here. I know we've got a bit of a, I'm a bit all over the place. I think. Sorry with my walkthrough here. I've been like doing videos back to back for days now, so I do apologise. But I think you're kind of seeing the power. If you're like a direct response marketer, creative strategist that already does this stuff, I think you're seeing like the power like straight away. And for anyone who's getting into this field, um, I think getting this kind of skill in your tool belt like off the bat is pretty cool. And it's also just like like one of the emails Mario sent out the other day about people. There's stuff out there for copywriters and marketers and stuff like that. AI's changed the game, and yeah, okay, that's true in some respects. But if you learn the tools and if you learn how to kind of provide value in a different way, get your foot in the door, like Mario and Luke Power training not too long ago, like Client Avalanche or whatever. And it was a kind of like way in which you kind of like you create an easy to say yes to offer, that gets your foot in the door, and then you do like that's a starter, let's say, or an entree. Then the main menu is whatever another service, and then obviously you continue upselling through until you become like a indispensable part of somebody's team, and you get in the door that way. So you need to figure out what is a hot offer and start selling that into the marketplace. And like creative strategy and statics and ads in general are hot right now, and they're going to continue to be hot. But there's no excuse not to kind of like do spec ads, really. I mean, look at this. It's taken. Okay, I've been talking for almost an hour now, but at the end of the day, once you get the system down, you can bang these out. You can bang out like 50 ads in a couple of hours, I would say. But again, it's not just about the imagery. Well, that is nice. You can present that to a client and say, "Hey, look at this. Look what I did for you." But that's still going to sit there gathering digital dust, because you need to give them really the full concept, because then they can actually run it. It doesn't have to be the best copy in the world, but if you give them that, then obviously they'll test it. They're very likely to test it, and obviously that's how you get your foot in the door. And obviously, I'm sure the business owners and brand owners on this training would agree. So anyway, rant over. Banger ad, love that. All you have to do is tweak that. This one, pretty cool. Like you literally you have to change nothing on this ad. I'm not saying it's a winner. I'm not saying it's going to convert, but from nothing to this in moments, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and again, like I haven't done any copy tweaks to this at all. So for the copywriters on this call, you'll be able to do something even better. But I'm quite happy with this, regardless. To be fair, yeah, man, it's really looking good. So that's bold, right? Let's say that's bold. Um, Now I need to show you meme. Where are we? So I'm going to try and wrap this call up. I could split it into two calls, but I think if you're watching this on 2x speed, I think it's all good. So let's go. You know what? Let me pause the video a moment. I'll think about a different product we can try instead of space goods. Okay, so just a couple of things. Um, I was able to get the space goods on here. So, you know, like I ripped it from the website, but it wouldn't actually work because it was an SVG file. So anyway, I just took a screenshot, uploaded it, and we got the brand on there. So that I think would be a half decent ad. And then also I realised, and maybe you noticed it yourself, but the last kind of generations I was doing for Bold, where we ended up with something like this, it was because I was using the ugly prompts. So that's obviously why. Although I quite like the hybrid, so that's good. It works out like that anyway. But this is more like what a Bold would be. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it would look. Then I just went over to Moringa Rosabella. This one's popping off at the moment, this offer. So um, this is for Moringa, like a Bold. I tried to put the bottle on the thing, but I didn't really tweak the prompt, so I just ended up with something like that. But you know, it's not bad. And we could go on and on and on, but obviously we're out of time. But it's the same process for Moringa. I just you know, I couldn't actually scan the website via ChatGPT. So all I did was I just hit Control A, Control C, and then just whacked the whole sales page in here. And then it pulled out these details, and then I gave it the expander for the concept expander, and then I gave it the transformer and said, "Give me one of each," and then give me one of each, and then that's what kind of started creating these. So that's that. Um, Yeah, you know what? I might take a break. To be fair, I might pause, and we can come back and we can do the last couple of things, and also because I want to show you Canva as well, how to tweak these images for those that are interested. So yeah, I think I'll sign off for now. But yeah, I hope you got some value out of that. Hopefully, I wasn't all over the place too much. But yeah, I think I think static ads are so cool to do, and I think if you use this process, whether you're doing some spec ads for someone or doing it for a client or doing it for yourself, that kind of creative diversity that Meta demands, this is going to be a super efficient way for you to do it. And I should imagine you could get some really, really killer, crazy results because you can really dial in the messaging. Obviously, here I haven't done any dialing in. Obviously, we've got these kind of more meta messages in the sense of they're speaking to everybody here, for example. But you could easily be, having something that speaks to someone in a specific way about a specific micro moment, in their day. And you could have a bunch of ads like that are speaking to all the different pain points, all the way in which, low energy shows up, crashing on coffee, jitters, and all this. And then obviously, put a bit of spend behind them. And then you're kind of like just basically peppering the whole internet with every single essentially every single chance at catching every single person that would be interested in buying your product, service, or offer. So yeah, hopefully that's been good to you. Good for you. Yeah, look forward to showing you the next couple of protocols and SOPs, and then just a quick overview on Canva. So yeah, in the meantime, yeah, I hope you get started. Generating some of these ads really with the prompts and stuff that I've given you, and yeah, obviously want to hear your feedback, and you would love to hear what you thought about these kind of statics, how easy it is, like how incredibly mind blowing it is, like what do you think you might do with it, like if you're a business owner, do you think this is going to change the game for you, like how quickly it is to generate? I mean, it's just yeah, I mean, I'm always just so impressed and surprised at how good quality these are. So, would love to hear your thoughts on that, and obviously we'll hear about your wins and the results and the success. So, yeah, that's it for now. Then, so yeah, cheers for watching. Thanks for your time, and catch up next time. Right, cheers. Bye bye.